Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hope again you're having a great night in this wonderful, wonderful month of Ramadan. I'm grateful to be here. I just want to say again, thank you for everyone who's been just taking notes and just sending it. It's incredible to me. I'm so grateful, and I'm honored that everyone is taking this seriously. So. On this level, I just want to say I'm proud, and again, it's words can't express really what's here, because some of the notes that I'm getting are so detailed and they're so intact, and I'm just really I'm surprised, but it's beautiful, and I love to see that. Whoever's doing that, good for you. I advise you highly. This is what I used to do when I was really trying to take myself to the next level. So I appreciate the time. I appreciate the effort. Keep pushing yourself to the highest levels, and dump this stuff into yourself as much as it's software. It's like you're gaining software. And tonight I want to expand it to a whole nother level with understanding how this stuff is going to work, and in terms of everything that's happening. So what I want to tell you, in the past few nights, especially yesterday's lecture, I would highly advise anyone who's really working on themselves in terms of a disciplined fashion, please go and watch that presentation. That presentation has a lot in it. It was really concise, and it was really defined, but it was a lot. So I actually went over in terms of time, and so forgive me for my beloved Sheikh Muhammad in terms of who's after me. I'm grateful, and I apologize again, but ultimately, let's begin here with really understanding now that we have a code. We have a mental, moral code, and we have an ethical code in terms of these kinds of things. Now, do you share that code with someone else? That person, when you actually reflect who you do they reflect who you are? So these things become so important in terms of the way you think, the way you understand, the way you move as a person, even from spousal connections, like even on those levels. Okay, does the person connect to you mentally? Meaning their principles are intact. Do they connect to you emotionally? Okay, meaning they have the same drives. Do you have to go through a lot to get to them, and they have to go through a lot to get to you? Okay, all these things become an amazing factor in terms of who you bring into your life. And guys, we have one straight narrow path, and that's time. There's no way you can go back and exchange friends and how you build that. You got to be very careful with who you bring into your life, who you mix your life with. Who is that person that is reflecting you when you look in the mirror? Do they reflect who you are? That's so important in terms of that understanding, because if you're not grounded in your own principles, what can happen is this person will take you and move you to their principles, and you will be following without knowing. Okay, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, hamajin ru'a. Okay, yan'aquna ma kulla na'iq, meaning they're like sheep. Wherever the wind blows, they will just go with it. Okay, this is the person who's lacking identity, and they lacking lead in terms of who they are and how they move. So on this level, you got to be very careful and who you bring into your life, and especially when it becomes down to really close relationships, because the principles, really pay attention to this, please. Their principles will dictate a lifestyle. I'm going to repeat that. The person's principles will dictate a lifestyle, meaning when you mix principles with them, are you like a person that has to say, are you this person? How much do I have to hate myself? This is the epitome of a toxic relationship, any kind of relationship. How much do I have to hate myself in order to love you? Meaning, how much do I have to go against my own principles, which I have to hate myself because that generates guilt, and guilt is self-hate, as we have explained. Now, how much do I have to hate myself in order to love you? How much do I have to go against my own principles in order to be able to live with you? That's hard. That's very difficult. I have to give of myself, but not the way I want to, not the way I'm giving willingly. I'm giving because I have to reward things I don't believe in. I have to go against myself in order to be with you. That's a very difficult journey. If you want to do that in your life and you have toxic relationships all around you, I guarantee you it's because the principles are lacking in both people. So when principles lack, you have a mixture of environments that you're going to be introduced to. Let me give you an example. A person who wants to get married, or a person who has a close relationship with someone who is a close friend, okay, and they actually mix their principles. That's what happens. But that leads to certain environments. One person wants to be in the mosque, the other person wants to be in the club. Why? Because they believe in different things. That's how it works. So when that happens, you have a drive. You have a drive. That person has a drive to be in the mosque. They have like a real affinity to go towards these kinds of environments. This person who wants to be in the club wants nothing to do with the mosque environment. So watch what happens in terms of these kinds of things. It becomes very difficult to mix principles, because the principles are going to be what? They're going to, just like a magnet, they're going to resist each other. And there's no way you're going to make that work. It becomes very difficult. So when you are picking people in your life, make sure, I'm saying here with any type of relationship, they make sure they mix with your principles, meaning you see the same things, and then you will end up in the same environments. This person likes to go to the gym, gets a person who likes to go to the gym. Okay, they like to go to the mosque. That person ends up, because they share the same principles. Okay, when you share the same principles, you're going to share the same environments. That's how it happens. Now, when you have conflicting lifestyles, wow, that's hell. I'm telling you, that's the epitome of a toxic relationship. That's the way it works. Now, tonight, what I'm going to do is just give you some general laws of friendship in terms of what our imams say. And so you can be aware of how to repel certain people that may be good people, but they just don't fit in your life. They're not for you as a person. And we're not talking bad or good people here. That's not what we're saying. We're saying it's just principles don't mix. And we're not saying who's right, who's wrong. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong at the end. Just don't judge each other there. If you sin differently from someone, just let them be in terms of their own life, and wish them well in terms of who they are. Okay, if you don't mix with someone, okay, that's you, and that's me. But take your grounds. I'm not saying that you should just say, here, at the end of the day, okay, I'll accept you, and I'll accept this, that you do. You don't have to do that. I'm not saying you have to do that. You can draw the lines very easily for people, but be cordial, be nice, be effective in the way you do it. And sometimes you have to be aggressive. Sometimes you have to be passive. These are just natural things of life in terms of the way we move. Now, before I begin, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Tonight, I have another book for you guys, and hopefully, I think these nights have been just something amazing in terms of some of the things I've had to go back and look through in terms of my own library a little bit. And tonight is something called Disciplined Dreaming. And this is a really amazing book in terms of, if you really are a reader, go after this one. And it really gives you a really good understanding on how to really set goals, but when you set goals, where to look at and what to look at. I think that's something amazing in terms of what you're doing. Now, overall, that's the book. Now you have something for tonight. Take down some notes. Here we go. These 5 friends, okay, I'm going to give you something on a general stream. First of all, I'm going to talk about just a Quranic verse. Then I'm going to give you some hadith in terms of the mirror aspect of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And then I'm going to get into the 5 friends and who they are. Okay. And when you guys start understanding this, that, okay, these are Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, he said, these are people you need to stay away from. Like, don't ever become their friend. Don't take them as associates. Push away from them. These are people that are what? Going to really harm you in your life. So you need to push away from these people. Whenever you see someone like this, you need to push away. And I'm going to give some detail in terms of these kinds of things. And please take down these things so you can see them in reality. When someone, and you're getting to know someone, are they one of these types of people? And then apply and see. And once you see that, and if you see these characteristics, then move. Then just let them be, because you're, at the end of the day, the character is what you're believing in. And when a person, that's what we're judging here in terms of that. So what to stay away from overall. All right. So you want, again, you want friends who believe in your principles, your core ideas, because those principles will lead to what? The same environments, meaning the same lifestyle. You'll find yourself in the same places. That's what happens. And that's why it's very difficult. Now, in psychology, I want to tell you something before I move forward in terms of this. So I just want to give you a little bit in terms of studies. There's a concept that's called opposites attract, okay? And trust me, I'm just going to say it. They do on certain levels, but that's not what you want. Overall, you want some lack of similarity, some, okay, but not all. Like you, small little things, but you want more similarities by far. That's what studies indicate, okay? So opposites, whatever you want to, opposites attract, and you hear that kind of thing, they attract for certain reasons for a small amount of time, then they're going to repel. That's how it works. And then there's things that you will never talk about, because the things you differ on, you will never talk about, you will stay away from. But if those things are core, like religion, career, these kinds of things, your own moral ethics, you're going to have a lot of problems in those kinds of relationships. So that's what studies indicate, that you want similarity, you don't want the other end. That's what happens there. Now I'm giving you that. So let's go into this and move forward. So now, Ya waylata, in the Quran it says, Ya waylata, okay, laytani lam attakhida fulanan khalila. Lam attakhida fulanan khalila. Woe unto me, okay, I wish I had not taken that one as a friend. So Allah is already warning us of these kinds of things, because this person will pull you astray. Okay, they will literally, guys, in almost every single situation that I go through, okay, and I'm mentoring someone, and they're something is happening, I always look at their circle of influence. Always, I'm always seeing, okay, who's your number 1 influence? Who's your number 2 influence? Who's your number 3? And most of the time, it's an unwise, unknowing, maybe willing to help friend, but it's that type of person that leads you astray. You want the people who are good in terms of these things. Now, I'm saying the bad, there's a lot of good, but I'm saying the bad for a reason, because I just want the alarms to go off when you actually run across people like that. And guys, I want to say another thing with people. There are people in this world who get to this level where their inside is now black, and there's nothing to stop them from hurting you. And when I say hurt you, I mean really bad, like hurt you. So you got to be very careful, and you got to be knowing and wise of who to bring into your life. And sometimes we may think that people are the best people for us, but at the end of the day, the second you mix with them, it creates a really bad cocktail. And now the way your life is misery. You both are miserable. And it could be, again, we're talking about any kind of relationship, but the most miserable one is the one who ends up in the hereafter and starts saying this: I wish I didn't take so-and-so as a friend. So guys, please, and on average, people who have really good friends, those two friends are two, max five. That's what studies also indicate. Okay, it's not how many friends you have on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Okay, that's not the way it works. When you have really close friends, that's the way it works. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says the person, the worst type of person is the person who can't make a friend. He tells us how to make a friend. He says al-bashashatu hablul mawadda. He says having a cheerful face, so having a smile on your face. Sometimes it's very difficult to smile, but it's okay. Sometimes life hits us hard, but smile. And he says have pain in your heart and a smile on your face. He says al-bashashatu hablul mawadda, meaning it's the snare of friendship. You want to bring in friends, have a cheerful face, have an amazing attitude in terms of when you present yourself to people, but not just your face, also feel it with your heart. And you're grateful, you're walking around with gratitude. You know what happens? You know what kind of energy you bring into your life? You know what kind of people you will bring into your life? People will just want to be around you. They just want your energy. You're so motivated. It's incredible. Wow. Okay, how do you generate that all the time? When you're like that, it's just wherever you are, any place you enter, the environment is just electrical and they feel your presence without you saying one word. That's Iman. That's the person who's walking around and there's a vibration. Their heart is moving to a different rhythm. That's incredible. And I'm telling you, there are people who become black in terms of darkness in their heart, and there are people you put your hand in their heart and it comes out white. That's how pure they are as people. Which side do you gravitate towards? Where are your temptations at? Okay, friends are mirrors to your own principles. Bottom line, that's how it works. You want to see who you are? Imam Ali, and this is a famous known hadith, okay, says, tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. That's a mirror, okay? That's who we are. Now, woe unto me. We don't want to end up in that stage. Last thing about this point, I want you guys to understand something. That I want you to think of the companions of Imam Huseini alayhi salam. When he told them, he's like, leave. They want me, they don't want you, leave. They told him there was no way we're going to leave you. Our life is not worth the cause. The cause is worth more than our life 1,000 times over. Because if we die 1,000 times and we're raised 1,000 times, we will still make the same decision. How much conviction do you have to have when you're tested like that? And you'll see what Imam Ali says about that. And I'm sorry, one of the friends in terms of Imam Huseini alayhi salam. Now, I'm going to leave that there. Don't end up in this position in front of Allah. You've been warned. On the day of judgment, don't be this person. Don't say, Ya waylata, laytani lamit attakhidu fulanan khalila. Allah Azza wa Jal is giving us a prophecy of what's going to happen. Some people are going to be saying this. Don't be in this group. Bottom line. So for you to pick good friends, you have to be kind and gentle with who you are. By what? Knowing your own principles. And when you know your own principles, you can pick wisely in terms of friends. So you have to know yourself before you can pick good people. All right, let's move on now. Second thing, Imam Ali alayhi salam, كُلُّ امْرِئٍ يَمِيلُ إِلَى مِثْلِهِ. Watch this. Now, we said that what? Same environments, correct? Watch this. Imam Ali is giving us that this is gauging friendship in terms of this. Every person is inclined to the one, what? That is like him. What happens? These are the things that birds of the same feather flock together, correct? So true. Here's Imam Ali telling us the same principle. Look in the mirror and see your principles. Watch live. Okay, I'm sorry, in terms of what you're doing, okay? The 4 languages, I'm not going to give you this, but I'm at the end of the day. Watch. I talked about the environments. I'm not going to get into that too much in terms of the 4 languages, but at the end of the day, here's concrete proof, okay, that Imam Ali alayhi salam is telling you, look around you. You want to see who you are? Okay. You're going to see yourself in terms of, you want to watch your own actions and behaviors. Look at the friends you have around you. If they like backbiting, if they like hurting people, if they like, that's you. Now you may be friends with them for other things, but they have these characteristics, and you're going to want to move away from people like that. But if they are taking you to the Quran, to read Quran, to go to class, to do their, educate yourself, they realize that you have potential, and they have, let's say you're in a close relationship with someone, and you have to, like, the husband has to give her rights, and the wife has to give him his rights, meaning that they both get on a carriage. Okay, their relationship is like a carriage. They both have to take care of that carriage, because that carriage has to face problems. And whenever you're taking on a close relationship, you're saying, I'm getting on this vehicle, and this vehicle is what? It's going to face problems, and these are the problems I want to face with you. That's all you're making. You're making a commitment towards responsibility to face challenges. Now you both better take care of that that vehicle. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart, and both of you are going to fall apart. But imagine you have two people driving the vehicle because their principles are completely different, and their visions are different. That becomes toxic in terms of what we're talking about. So now, at that level, you will what? Move towards the person you're like, guaranteed in terms of that. Now, Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, he's going to give us what? The 5 people we need to stay away from. Okay? So Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, as this hadith, as he was actually talking to his sons, okay? And as he was talking and one hadith actually says that he was talking to his son. One says that he's talking to his son. And he says, 5 people, he says, oh my sons, it says 5 people that you should not become friends or friends with or associate with. So now he's giving us the 5 people, and he's going to layer this and see these characteristics. And I'm going to try to go into each one by one. Okay. So here, number 1, okay. The liar, the person who lies. Now look at what Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, this is what he says about him. He says, he is like a mirage. Okay. He will make something that is far away seem close, and something that is close seem far away. That's the way he will make things look. Why? Because at the end of the day, these people, by the way, I've been around a lot of people like that. And people who are really good liars, sometimes they're very hard to catch, because they're usually very good on emotional intelligence, and they know how to maneuver emotionally. So a good liar knows how to stay within the realms of truth with their tongue. That's what it is. They can manage their emotions so well, okay, that they can stay within the realm of truth, okay? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing all the time, because you have to be wise. In a relationship, you have to be wise. The truth has to be presented through wisdom, okay? I'm not telling you not to be truthful, but what a liar does is you can't catch them. You can't, and that's not what I'm talking about in terms of the first realm. When the person can manage those emotions, and they can make them what? It's called emotionality, by the way. And they know exactly what they're feeling, and they know exactly what you're feeling. They empathize, they sympathize, and they empathize with you, and they can maneuver through those emotions. Now, this is a great skill. But when this skill is mixed with fear, this is when you become an amazing liar. You become a habitual liar, okay? And what happens there is incredible. Now I can manage, I have a skill that Allah has given me. Emotional intelligence, by the way, for leadership is a must. Your IQ and your skill set won't get you there. You need emotional intelligence. You need to take yourself to high levels of emotionality. Now from here, you can tell what someone else is feeling. You just don't, again, like I told you, you just don't know their mind, you know their heart, and you know what's happening, and you know their motives. Now, a person who's a good liar, what they do is they tell you half truths when they should be telling you all the truth. They tell you exaggerations when they shouldn't be exaggerating. They should be telling you this. Listen, I drank a cup of water, okay? Meaning I took a sip. But they'll tell you I drank a cup of water, okay? They'll change amounts on you. They'll do these kinds of things. They'll remove themselves from specifics. They'll always go to generalities. These are what liars do in terms of these kinds of things, okay? They can maneuver around emotions. They can, they can maneuver with their emotions around things. So what you want in a true relationship is emotional honesty, not just verbal honesty. You want emotional honesty. What that means is that person's intentions is embedded in their words. Their soul, when they speak, is embedded in the words in terms of their truthfulness and who they are as a person. When they speak, they're giving you 100% verbiage of what is inside them. Now, but they're also very wise with you. Let's say you can't handle the truth in terms of certain levels. Let's say your mother just died and your dad has really bad heart problems and you don't tell him right away in terms of certain things. That's wise. These are wise things to do. You're just holding back information to help someone. That's a different scenario. Okay, that's wisdom at play. But you're managing the truth in terms of what you need to do. That's management. That's wisdom, though. What I'm talking about is the one who exaggerates and tells half truths. That's really, really bad thing to do to other people. And by the way, this is the person who has so much fear in relationships because they can't deal with rejection. And it goes into lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence, lack of self-efficacy. That conversation we had in the second or third night of the presentations. So ultimately, guys, a person who lies is someone who impression manages others, meaning they can put a lens on you in terms of, we talked about the perspective and your perspective being a camera without a lens, okay? That person will put really good lenses on for you right away. They're really good at putting lenses on other people and having you look at this other person as something that's really bad. This person is so bad. Don't do business with him. Don't do this with him. Don't do this with her. She's this. They're really good at stuff like that. Watch people like that. It's incredible how good they are. And the sign for that, if you want, emotional honesty. And these people, when they're hurting people, by the way, and they do hurt people, but they justify the lies to themselves. Okay, they justify it. I've dealt with a lot of people like that. And when you become a habitual liar, this is when you trained your consciousness to lie. You've trained your subconscious mind to lie. It's automatic for you. You don't even think. It's just there. There's nothing that holds your heart back. There's nothing that holds you back from lying. And this person, I'm telling you, the truth will bring you what? Peace. Why? When you have truthful intentions, your intention will protect you in the future. How? When you have pure intentions and then in the future things go wrong, you can go back and satisfy yourself and say and know your intention, because you know Allah knows what is in your heart. That's how you keep your psychological peace and emotional what? Tranquility. When you can do that, and the truth will protect you in the future. That's how powerful the truth is. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Al-haqqu ma'ali wa aliyu ma'al-haqq." That's incredible. So stay away from people who are just habitual liars, and they can maneuver around things. Okay. Emotional intelligence, emotional honesty is what you want from a person. So something that I do with my daughter, she'll just ask me right away. She'll tell me intentions. She'll ask me for my intention, meaning she wants emotional honesty from me. Tell me what's really in your heart. I don't want to jump to assumptions and conclude on your intention. I don't want to judge your intention the wrong way. So just tell me what your intention is. Tell me what you want. Tell me what's truly in your heart. That's a true relationship. And there's no fear. There's no fear when now what a peaceful question when you really know how to conduct that kind of conversation, because the truth brings harmony at the end. No matter how there's friction to it sometimes, but you got to learn how to go towards friction, then mend friction. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to move forward. That's the first type, okay? The one who's a liar, you got to be careful of, okay? And push them away in terms of these kinds of, okay? This type of person is al-fasiq, okay? Now, when you, the lasher it's so important that you understand how this works, okay? And this is what Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam says. He says he will sell you with the cost of a meal or less than that. He will literally just, like, as soon as he gets a chance to backstab you, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to care. Now, you may be doing a lot for them, and check this principle. If you are in a relationship where you constantly have to balance someone, meaning that the person has a broken wing, and you constantly have to go down from your flight and fix them. I'm not telling you not to help, by the way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, how much is it going to cost you? Then this person might be just using you. Check these things, okay? Check who you help. Understand who you're helping. Know who you're helping. Be wise in who you're helping. There's a reason why Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam is telling us this. In terms of these type of people, he's warning you. He's telling you, listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stay away from them. There's a reason for that. So this person will literally sell you drop of a dime. They're waiting to backstab you because they're selfish and that's all they want. So when you go down to the ground, you fix their wing and they take flight, guess what? They'll fly away. They'll just go. And the second you need them, watch what's going to happen a little bit later on. You'll see what's going to happen. The second, now, let's say you give. And there's another hadith that says about a person like this. It says there's 4 types of people that Allah will bring down the wrath upon that person. And this is a person, when you are a person that's giving them, you're doing ihsan, you're into tahsannun. You do that for them and you give them so much of yourself, your time, your energy, your heart, your thinking. And guess what happens? They burn you. And I'm sure a lot of people have been through this, okay? They turn around and they backstab you. Think about that. That is one of the people that Allah will bring their wrath down upon that person. Don't do that to other people. Let's be kind to each other, again, in terms of what we're doing. Now, this is the second type of person. Third type, okay, this person really has no principles and will even sell their religion. They don't even care. So use religion as a guiding post because, guys, I'll say one more thing before I move forward. A person who lacks principle, you'll see in terms of the next coming parts in terms of this. A person who lacks principle, literally, they're like water. They mold to any form within the shape of a cup. If it's a wide shape, they'll mold to it. If it's a really narrow shape, they'll mold to it. They're very adaptive. And because they're very slimy, they're very witty in terms of who they are. And especially if they have high intelligence, then have high emotional intelligence, and then they have a crude heart, okay, and just a heart that's just become cold. My God, what they can do to people. And I've saw it across the table, guys, with a lot of business transactions, and sometimes there's millions of dollars at stake, and you can look in someone's eyes and there's like they're dark from the inside and you don't care. And they're willing to do anything to get what they want, and they'll say anything, do anything, and it doesn't matter. It's incredible when you can see these kinds of things and just see the darkness within someone. I'm not telling you to judge at that level, but just these are people you're kind of staying away from. And you wish them the best. You wish that Allah helps them, but please just keep your distance from me. All right? So person who lacks principle will literally maneuver in they'll get along with anyone, in any place. Okay? They don't have any enemies because everyone is an opportunity. They're not a friend, they're an opportunity. All right? So let's move forward. Now, the stingy one. This is the one who is really, it's incredible. And this is what I was telling you earlier. This is the person who will deny you when you need them most. when you need him most. And now you are, as a person who, let's say you've hit hard times and there are certain things, and I've come to know a lot of people that when they see oppression, they can't stand it. They have to help. Even if it hurts them, even if it hurts them as a person, they will still help. The most honorable position are the people who what? الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. Those who give in times of what? Hardship, and in times of ease. That giving, in terms of who they are, doesn't change. Their situation and their condition doesn't change their heart in terms of giving. Now, there's a limit. Imam Huseini alayhi salam, he says generosity has a limit. When it's exceeded, it becomes extravagance. So you got to be careful. Where's the line? Wisdom, again, application of all these laws through wisdom. What person to go towards, what person to stay away from and pull back. It's all about wisdom. Man utiya al-hikmah. Whoever has been given wisdom in the Quran has been given something great. Okay, wisdom is, it's literally the truth has to be presented through wisdom. Your emotions have to be presented through wisdom. When you feel through wisdom. Understand these things through wisdom. When you have that, you can get to a point where Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, I'd rather have a wise enemy than a foolish friend. Think about that. All right, so the stingy one, he will deny you when you need him most. The person, when you need him most, he will flee. Imam Ali, and I'll finish with this, he says when he was in battle and he looked and he saw a group that was waiting. And he says, you are the people of the fence, where you stand just far away, that if I were to win the war, you will come and get the spoils of war. And if I was to come and lose, and if I was to lose the war, you have enough space to run away. That's not the friend you want. The person who will leave you when you need the most, that's not the friend you want. And they will test you on this. And you will be tested, by the way. You have to see the signs for that. All right, number 4, the one who lacks in intelligence, meaning Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, he said, in terms of this, he says the one who lacks intelligence is the one who is really will try to help you. It's the person who, listen, I want to help you get this book, but I ordered the wrong book for you. And it's something completely different. It's just, they're not aware. They don't have that awareness to help you as a person, because if they do something for you, they're actually going to harm you. They're not going to help you. Be careful of these kinds of things as well. You want very intelligent people in your life. You want people who will take you to the next level. And you want people who don't just, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, a true friend tells you your faults. But imagine a friend who's not intellectually there. What do? They tell you what? That your faults are great. And everything's great. But imagine that. You want someone who's telling you, they're a mirror of you in terms of who they are. And their advice is valuable to that. So you want to stay away from this kind of person. Not, again, if there's someone that's lacking intelligence and you want to help them, I'm not saying don't become someone's friend like that. That's not what I'm saying is overall, okay, you can help these people, but be careful how close you bring them in. Be careful, because these people, once you bring them into your life, they're going to be a part of your life and they're going to have an effect on your life. Every single person in your life is going to have an effect. They either have a positive and they propel you forward and they actually bring you spiritual levels, financial levels, self-development levels, spiritual levels, they relationship levels, the community levels, your health levels, everything, they help you with these kinds of things and they bring you to the highest point of who you are. All right, guys. So number 4 is that. Number 5, let's really get this set up right in terms of this is the last one. And yesterday went too long. Today I'm going to keep it light and generous in terms of what we're doing. And I don't want to take it over that. Now, the last one, okay, very important. And this is an amazing thing in terms of how to look at someone who is your friend, okay? And it's called in Arabic is Qati' al-Rahm. Okay, Qati' al-Rahm. I had to make sure that I get the right translation for this, and I wanted to make sure that I had that. And I actually called even a couple of people just to make sure. But again, when we're presenting this stuff, it's not easy to just, you don't want to make a mistake on these things. At the end of the day, look whose name is you're under in terms of what you're doing. You know, Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, Zayn al-Abidin, he was the highest level of worshippers in terms of that. And then he says, the sajda of my father is a true worshipper, which is Imam Ali alayhi salam he was talking about. Think about that. And he was Zaynul Abidin. Think like that's incredible. Like this person was, its connection with Allah is at the highest form. And I advise you, please, if you can throughout this month, go to dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. This is a dua by Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. And I'm telling you, I swear to you, it will change your heart. It will change it. Okay? Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. Okay? It's the peak of mannerism. That's what he's describing. But these are emotional codes that you need to embed into yourself. And he gives you like beautiful, beautiful things. And I'm talking about the Imam. I'm sorry, I'm sidetracked. But the Imam Zayn al-Abidin is a very special person when it comes down to worship. Okay? Read about his life. Understand his life. Learn his sujood. Learn his ruku'. You want to meditate like him. Okay? Understand that your thoughts and emotions, okay, they're going to generate who you are at the end of the day. Your thoughts will generate certain emotions. And when you can get the right thoughts and connect them to the right emotions, there's euphoria right after that. And it's incredible where you can get to in terms of worship and worship to Allah Azza wa Jal. Look at this man in terms of who he is, study his life, understand him in terms of his connection to Allah. Okay, and then al-munajat, like go into that, go into these things in terms of what he's written. It's just beyond beautiful. And I'll give you just one. He says, وَأَجْرِي لِلنَّاسَ عَلَى يَدِيَ الْخَيْرِ وَلَا تَمْحَقُّ بِالْمَنِّ وَهَبْ لِي مَعَالِيَ الْأَخْلَاقِ وَعْصُمْنِي مِنَ الْفَخْرِ. Like literally just that passage right there. And let goodness flow out from my hands towards people. But don't make them feel obligated to me, that they have to repay me. I don't want that. That's the law of reciprocity. I don't want nothing. I give with no expectation in return. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam is talking about the law of reciprocity in terms of what's been just discovered not too long ago in psychology in the modern world, but it's already there. So please study these things so you can download the right emotional codes into your heart. Okay, think about the dua. Think about what he's saying. Think about the positions you've been in terms of these kinds of things. And the one who's وَالْإِحْسَانِ عَلَى غَيْرِ الْمُسْتَحِقِ, he says to actually do something that is good, that the one who doesn't deserve it. Sometimes you walk into a mosque or you call them and they look at you and they turn their face. And then you walk up to them and you say, Assalamu alaikum. Al-ihsanu ala ghayr al-mustahiq. To be kind with the one who doesn't deserve it. This is akhlaq. This is the highest of manners in terms of the way you stand for principle. It's beautiful when you can understand these things. So the last one is the one who cuts away ties with his own or her own kinship. Again, I'm not telling you not to help these people if they truly want help and they want to get better. That's not what we're saying. We're saying be careful of these signs, and the person who doesn't want help, they don't care for you, they don't care about you, they just want to use you. That's what we're talking about. Stay away from these kinds of people. Now, the one who cuts ties with their own, meaning, are they good towards their own family? So I want to tell you something in terms of what my father told me. And I was asking as I was growing up, I said, Baba, like, and I told him, Dad, like, how do I pick my friends? And he saw my friends and he looked at me, he goes, and the first thing he said to me, and I remember this so clearly, we were standing outside and he was just talking to me. And he says to me, he says, is he good towards his parents? Is he good towards his brothers and sisters? And I never, like, I'm like, Dad, I'm like, why are you asking me? Like, I'm asking you about my own relationship with him. Why are you asking me about the relationship of his friends and family? Now, I saw my dad's wisdom, small part. Now I understand it completely to a whole nother level. But he was really telling me, if a person to his own close relationships doesn't have any goodness or kindness or value, how is he going to have, and this is exactly what he told me. He says, if he doesn't have value towards his really close relationships, how is he going to value your relationship with him? And he literally told me, he's like, this person will not stay in your life. He will not. He told me that. And he was absolutely correct. That person didn't last. They didn't stay in my life for long. Okay. These kinds of things are very important. And Imam Ali, and I'll finish with this, inshallah. So the person who stays away and he doesn't value his own relationships with his family, that's a sign. That's a major sign, and it's very easy to observe. So for you to kind of look at that and say, okay, you know what? I want to back away from this person. So these people will manipulate. These people will make the world so beautiful, but they're actually painting with falsities that you will never get to. It's like a mirage. These people are stingy when you need them, and you need that dollar. Let's say you're really hurt and that you nowhere to be found. They won't know you. Okay. This person will try to help you. They may have good intentions, but they lack what? The wisdom of understanding how to apply that knowledge. Okay. And the last one is this, in terms of the one who cuts off his relationships with his kinship, meaning his family and close ones. When this, and I'm telling you, this has a lot to do with a lot of relationships. So if you want to truly get in a relationship with someone, check their own ties. If you are a sister, okay, who's looking at a brother for marriage, okay, check his relationship with his mother. Okay. If you are a brother that is looking for a wife in terms of marriage, okay, check her relationship with her father. That's her first model of a male figure. That's what she's going to ascribe to. That's what she's going to go after, subconsciously, by the way. Not even consciously, sometimes subconsciously it happens. And even if they don't have a bad relationship, okay, again, it's up to you. I'm just giving you the signs and what even psychology has stated in terms of these kinds of things. Now, last thing, and I'll finish with this, is Imam Ali alayhi salam. He says, some people will come into your life for a short period of time. Some people will stay there a little bit longer. Some people will stay for a vast amount of time in your life. And some people are there forever. Me and my brother Bassam, and I'm so grateful of this man in my life. And I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. And we are like one. Here's the 5 boys, and she's the palm, like my sister's the palm. And we all protect her in terms of these kinds of things. But ultimately, we are 6. And my dad, in so many ways, has given us something so amazing that we come together and we made a fist of strength and power. My dad and mom did that. So I want to thank you I want to thank God, number one, for giving me such amazing parents. I want to thank my brothers and my sister for always being the hand and then the shoulder and anything that is needed. I could put my hand in my brother's pocket and he will not ask me what I'm taking out, and he will not care. He will not say anything to me. Sam, go. If you need it, take it. That's the kind of relationships we need. These are the kinds of things you want. And let's be good to one another. Let's be kind to each other. Let's do the right things. And if you are a person who's even struggling with these kinds of things, okay, you can change. You can become something better, and you can take on life at a whole nother level. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. I'll see you guys next time, and keep us in your prayers.